Hey everybody, this is my flyer that Brother Sean in Chicago is sending out 40,000 of these around Missouri. He just sent me 5,000 to get handed out. They're going to be covering Wright, Douglas, and Ozark County for me. And for the election, Daryl McClanahan for U.S. Senate. And I'm just so thankful for Brother Sean. And he wants to help with the campaign and getting me elected to U.S. Senate. And I wanted to do a little bit of an update on the Ruud trial that's going on there in Ozark. Not in Ozark. It was an Ozark County case that happened about a year before we moved out to Theodosia. Let me how do I turn this around? Good morning, Missourians. I want to do an update on the Ruud trial in Greene County, Missouri. It's a murder case that happened in Ozark County. It happened about a year before we moved out to Theodosia, but many of the deputies and law enforcers involved were involved with what went on at our home. Please check out my YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share, and we have a legal defense fund. But my thoughts are that regardless of what happened, Miss Ruud deserves the best defense possible. That's what our Supreme Court has said, and the Missouri Public Defender's offices fell short. They have been sued. They were sued when Jay Nixon was our governor, and the ACLU, and they just had, I think, 3.6 million injected into the system to help attorneys not have too much of a caseload. This Kate Wellborn, who is representing Miss Ruud, was ordered by Judge Brock, who I think is an excellent judge. Anytime I've been in her courtroom, she seems very common sense. And she had ordered Miss Wellborn to make contact with me about application to the public defenders. Now, I didn't qualify for a public defender, but she didn't make contact with me. And she's also had a defendant, Noel Cole, sitting in jail for 3 months and has not got him a bond hearing. I believe he is firing her now, and because of me speaking out about him, he's retained an attorney, and he's going to have an attorney helping him with his case. You know, he has the famous case that's on KY3 News where he was chased by Deputy Miller over having a chocolate pie. You'll have to read that chocolate pie story in Deputy Miller. So I think it's been a long-time love affair between Noel Cole and Seth Miller of the Ozark County Sheriff's Office. Now, Curtis Dobbs and Winston Collins' collection of evidence, and I saw him testify, he scooped up evidence of this woman's this young girl's remains, and he didn't wear gloves, and he had a shot. I don't know, why didn't someone video it? Now we have the investigator, Nina Lane, for the Missouri Public Defenders. I'm not sure how they got the recording. Someone's trying to call me now, dang it. I don't know how the prosecution got the recording. All right, we'll see if I can splice this back together. I had a phone call there. The investigator, Nina Lane, who needs a prosecution in a case when you have a public defender investigator like her where the recording got in the hands of the prosecution? I just don't understand how that took place. And I think she should have had a jury trial for a jury of her peers, not a bench trial, but that's they say that was her choice. But I think this goes to her counsel, the public defender, Kate Wellborn. I think she could be doing a much better job for the defendant. And I've had hate calls and threats saying that I was going to affect it some way. I'm just a man that lived in Ozark County, and I have an opinion of how these deputies handled evidence. In the recording, Curtis Dobbs tells me to throw away flyers, and I've tried to obtain copies of these flyers from Ozark County for a handwriting expert, and they've told me I have to subpoena them. I believe they're covering up for a good old boy, and we know what his name is. So what's going to happen is going to happen with Miss Ruud's case, but yesterday they were making out it was a hardship for Garabrandt to get a hotel room, and he's a prosecutor and he's there for the case. I don't know why he wouldn't make arrangements to be there for the lady's trial. He has retired, and a new prosecutor. I don't know if he lives in Garabrandt's old house or not, or what went on there. I kind of know a little bit of how he got the job, but the medical marijuana guy that called me, he needs fair treatment. I mean, the legislature in Missouri approved medical marijuana. Of course, someone under the influence shouldn't be driving or anything, but look at all the damage alcohol does and all the problems alcohol causes. And I'm sure there's firemen that have showed up and they volunteer and they had a few beers and they shouldn't have been drinking and driving the fire truck and got in trouble. I believe our old I knew an old guy that worked on the retired from the fire department. He got a DUI for driving the fire. He showed up smelling like alcohol. So those stories are out there, but I don't think this is one. I think the guy really wanted to serve his community. That's why he called me. He's I'm the last person that could really help him, but I think he wanted to make people aware in the area what's going on. And I don't think I think he should have been able to become chief, or there should have been arrangements made for the guy to keep serving his community. Because there's not enough people nowadays that want to do that. There are a lot of good people in law enforcement. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I want accountability. The shooting of Jeffrey Winehouse, the Missouri Public Defender's Office, I think it's Bartholomew was the lady's name. Her son killed her husband, and she was working on the writ of habeas corpus about the evidence of Jeffrey Winehouse being shot. Missouri Highway Patrol covered up for 2 years that Henry Folsom was on Adderall and Prozac when he shot Jeffrey. And Jeffrey should be exonerated from what he did. They told a lot of lies. He pulled it. Just read the U.S. Observer story. There's a U.S. Observer story that I've posted a bunch. Just do Jeffrey Winehouse, U.S. Observer. And I wanted to bring up this jailhouse snitch that testified yesterday. In her testimony, she says she wanted to get out of jail. So, of course, people take plea bargains to get out of jail, and it's unfair for the state to do that. The majority of all cases nowadays are settled with a plea bargain, and it's really unfair to defendants that didn't do anything. This is why the Missouri Public Defender's Office was originally sued, is because, of course, if you hold a guy in jail for 30 days, he's going to lose his livelihood, his job, get kicked out of their house. Of course, he's going to say, I'll take whatever plea bargain you have. Just like this woman said she wanted to get out of jail, so she took some kind of deal. And in that deal, I'm sure it wasn't expressed, but there was a nod and a wink, I think, to testify against Miss Ruud, and I think that's very unfair. So she may have needed mental health treatment that wasn't available. They talk about these mass shootings and mental health. I just want to see defendants get fair representation, because I've struggled with that myself. And I now have 3 different attorneys helping me. 2 aren't on the record, but 2 are in the background watching everything. They've watched a lot of my videos. And they believe I'm genuine, and I just want accountability. This is the reason I'm running for U.S. Senate. And I'm going to do some upcoming videos where I'm going to talk about the other candidates. I've put stuff out about them, just writing it, but I want to speak about it. And if you had any questions, please contact me, Daryl McClanahan. I have a Cash App. I have to let you know how to get to it. If you'd like to donate, it would be appreciated. I don't have millions of dollars like those other people running, but I'm an average man who has a knowledge of the Constitution and a knowledge of the law. I don't think it should be any more complicated for people to understand. And I'm always going to defend conservative values and try to follow God's law. And that is so hard to do because we're fallen, and it's a pretty impossible thing to do, to follow all of God's laws exactly and not get angry or use bad. I have Brother Sean. I'm going to have to tell you about Brother Sean has donated and helped my family, and he's also provided unbelievably 40,000 flyers to be passed out in Missouri on my behalf. They're going to do that by the primary. So that's just a blessing in itself. I would just pray for everyone's safety, and I appreciate you listening to me. And if you had any questions, call me. My phone number is public. I do record my phone calls because of the threatening calls I've had, and you don't want to be recorded, and you're a real person. And it's a friendly conversation. I won't record it. So peace and blessings. I get made fun of saying that, but I would like everyone in Missouri to have peace and blessings, and our country as well. And our country's in I think there's going to be a lot more freedom with this Roe versus Wade being overturned, the Second Amendment. We have some great conservative judges in the U.S. Supreme Court, and I'm just praying for America all the time, for my children. I love my children so very much, and I want them to have a country, and I want them to be able to dream, and we'll pray for Miss Ruud too, that she can find God and repent. If she did anything, if she is responsible, that she would repent and ask God for her forgiveness, and prayers for the little girl. And I pray she is in everlasting, enjoying her everlasting life in heaven as an innocent child who didn't ever get a break. It seems like from the time she was born, she didn't get a break. It's a very sad story. And I do care about the victim, that she was harmed, but I also care that the courts give defendants the proper representation and a fair chance that they deserve. Thank you.